welcome though.
Thank you,
Richard.
Brian.
Welcome. This is you're actually the second guest of this new rebranding of our podcast. We've been doing this podcast for better part of 2 years now. Yeah, and so we just renamed it. We're doing something a little bit different. Before we were called Morning Drinkers, and we would get really, really silly with it. This is now the world you're not in, and I wanted to bring in some guests from Oliver's world a little bit, but also just the whole poetry scene is kind of completely foreign to me. I mean, this is the first time I'm meeting you as well, so that's why we're doing the world you're not in. I'm trying to learn about your world here, in addition to learning about other people in general. So welcome. I'm gonna grab a drink though.
I want to start off by kind of setting the tone a little bit by asking a question that Brian has more so made a comment to me. So, as a person that has gone to multiple open mics and everything and had to follow, people, do you feel that there's a Brian described it as almost in the comedy scene where you're kind of reacting off crowd reaction, and it's almost getting bumped sometimes. There's also that experience of getting bumped.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So do you feel that it's similar, or are you familiar with the comedy scene at all? Or
I'm not familiar with the comedy scene. I like what I've fucking seen on Joe Rogan and shit. I heard about in those podcasts. But nah, the one thing I do know about is the bumping, and it happens a lot. But I don't know if it happens because of your talent necessarily. It just happens to who you happen to know, and they're like, oh, let me get this dude on the mic before anybody else, kind of thing, And that's happened to me a few times. I've been doing it since 2020 actually.
Okay, so 4 years.
Yeah, and I've done everything. I've done packed houses. One time I did a show. It was just me and the promoter and empty chairs, and the motherfucker still gave me only 2 minutes. I was like, "Can I go do another one?" They're like, "No, you have to wait your turn." I'm like, "All right."
Even though there's nobody there?
I'm telling you, man, everything.
so do you still feel it's almost like the comedy scene in a way?
Dude, I think in any performing arts, I mean, just when you said you were performing, there's nobody in the audience as well. You'll encounter that in music too.
True.
But that's really odd though to me. What he's saying is yeah, I'm only gonna give you 2 minutes. Why though?
No, sorry, not 2 minutes. 2 poems.
2 poems.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
right.
He's expecting at least a
there,
a cap of 5 minutes total. Yeah.
Were there other performers as well?
They were on the list. I bet they were his friends or something, or their friends.
Okay, that does sound a little more comedy-esque, I guess, from what we've heard. We're not in the comedy scene, but from what we've heard, absolutely. So, what got you into the poetry thing?
I always liked writing shit down in journals, I guess. When I was little, I would always, I want to either write my own story or make my own dialogue, if that makes any sense. I'd put myself in movies and shit.
Okay.
But I'm talking very little, maybe 8, 9.
Right.
So it started off, and I didn't put a word to it until I started getting into music with Kurt Cobain, and, Jim Morrison. All these guys had journals and they made poetry.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's that thing I do, and that's when I started. I guess I write poetry.
Any interest in going in the musical route, or just?
I'm very interested, but I'm not very. I learned guitar from high school and shit.
Okay.
But if anybody plays every instrument for me, and I'll gladly lend some lyrics.
Gotcha.
But
you won't sing over it or anything?
I'll sing.
Oh, you'll sing?
I'll try. I'll attempt. I don't want to insult anybody by calling what I do singing, but
right.
But I'll definitely give it a fucking shot.
That's cool. That's cool. We did a performance in London where this guy just pretty much did spoken word. Yeah.
Spoken word. Yeah, something like that. I'd be down to that if you want to call that music.
You don't call it music?
No, I don't want to insult people. Fuck yeah, man. I write music, but
right. There are some people that are a little overconfident.
Yeah, because I know when people get on the mic for poetry shit, and it's just like random shit. I get mad like, oh, that's not poetry, dude. You just came over here, spoke your feelings.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, everybody can do poetry, but
What do you consider poetry? Like, what is the distinguishing factor? You
you know what? I'm gonna get in trouble for this. Poetry, everything's poetry. To a certain point, stand-up comedy is a poem that you memorized, and you get a reaction from the crowd, but you're not getting like sadness or anger. You're getting fucking a laugh. But I still think that's a poem.
Okay.
And I guess everybody could be a poet, but not everybody's a good poet, and not everybody's either good enough to get on the mic. But because when you don't take it seriously, that's when I don't think it's you should get on the mic. If you're learning, because I've learning and like getting better, I'm okay with that.
Right.
Like, we all have the right to be shitty. I have the right to be shitty. I'm a shitty poet sometimes too.
Right.
But when you don't take it like seriously, it's just something whatever to you. That's what makes me mad.
So this is something that's interesting because I grew up never really attending, I think, a poetry show until I probably went to one of yours, because that's like strictly a poet's like performance, right?
Oh, because most of the time it's like a general open mic where anyone can go up.
Right.
Sometimes it's a guitar player, a comic, yeah.
Yeah, what I used to do was the Neil Soul Tuesdays, and sometimes you'd have people going up and they would do a poem, some sort of spoken word thing. We'd add music in the background. So that was like the extent of my knowledge on it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I went to one of yours that I was like, oh, this is like a poetry reading. So I grew up reading poems. Now, my question to you is, are you a fan more of the performance, how it's delivered, or would you actually just prefer to read it?
I prefer reading.
You prefer reading it?
But that's like I also enjoy listening. But if you're gonna give me not an ultimatum, but like what would I rather do? I would rather read it
Gotcha.
because I think my poems are made to be read
Oh, okay. So then why perform?
to get out there. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just the primary reason.
No, it's fun too, and again, like the reaction from the crowd.
Gotcha.
I see what's good and what's not.
Yeah, you get like real time feedback.
Exactly.
Right.
That's always good.
I wonder, I guess, what am I trying to say here? I wonder if, let's say you have an off night. Let's say your delivery isn't there. Kind of like how in comedy, a comic may bomb. They just didn't deliver it right. The tone was just wrong. It was a bad room. Do you think your poems your poetry suffers from your delivery?
Yes.
Yeah?
I think so.
How about you?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's a big risk then for both of you to just kind of like go on stage and be like, man.
Well,
Fuck dude.
it's because it's also the content. Because, like, we've talked about this in the past, where like generally, and I don't know if this has been the same experience for you, but generally speaking, in most of these like poetry spaces, there's a lot of angst. It's a lot of feelings. It's a lot of like seriousness. My poems are generally more on the comedic side, more about fucking around, and they're sexual. So like,
I consider yours more just sexual and not comedic.
well, all right. Well, the point is like, so like if
Sex is funny. I guess.
yeah, if you're reading the room, like
Right.
it's like a big like difference,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's I got pieces that like just did not hit because I didn't read the room. But then again, like all my pieces are pretty much the same. So
So you're a one-note poet.
No, because I can
Right.
write serious, and I have before, but like it's not something that I have to prove to myself. I don't feel like I have to prove it to myself or anybody
Right.
else. I genuinely like writing the dirty stuff because it's like it's fun. Yeah.
What do you enjoy writing the most? Dirty stuff as well?
I've been known to write dirty stuff. That's what I got, I guess, a little notoriety for. But I don't have a preference really. I write whatever whatever. You know?
Whatever.
It's because I don't start off like saying like, oh, today I'm gonna write dirty poetry. I let it
Just
come because, but
Pun intended.
because I write every fucking day.
Okay.
So like every day is something different, and just I write like months of stretch of just dirty poetry. Sometimes it's just sad shit. It just depends on what the fuck I'm going through.
Right.
But I think I prefer sad boy shit.
You prefer sad boy shit. What is,
Like,
what
and
is
I don't think I don't prefer it, but that's what I gravitate towards. But like, I show the dirty stuff because that's what people like.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like catering to the audience a little bit.
Not catering. Maybe I'm a little bit shy. That's got to be something to do with it. And I got a good reception from the dirty stuff.
Interesting.
So like, not until recently did I start posting more like personal, like,
introspective.
like yeah.
That's maybe I'm mistaken, and I haven't been to enough of the poetry slams or poetry shows. But I would actually think that the sad boy stuff would hit harder or would be more well received.
Depends if it's well written and well performed.
Right.
It's just so you said poetry slam. There's a difference between
Yeah,
slam poetry and then like these like little open mics that are notorious around here. Yeah, it's like slam poetry is a competition. It's like with judges and and like they're more judged based on the performance aspect of it.
Not the content itself.
I mean, the content has something to do with it, but it's mostly about performance and like showmanship.
Okay.
Did you ever watch Death Poetry Jam, or do you ever remember it?
Somewhat, yeah.
Kind of like that, but like
Gotcha.
you're actually at the end of the show they have like a winner.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you prefer?
I don't like slam poetry a lot, but that's just me.
Right.
It gets repetitive because that's just the nature of it. Everyone,
It's the same cadence.
it's the same cadence, dude. Exactly.
Everybody talks like this,
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like that shit gets so fucking annoying.
And I think that has to like perpetuates the stereotype of like a beatnik poet with like the little glasses,
Right.
and then it makes us look like we're a fucking Nickelodeon cartoon, you know? Like remember the
SpongeBob with the little bongos.
like where's the bongos at? Why isn't people snapping?
That was big in the 90s when all that stuff was happening because
The only one I liked was the ones from a Goofy movie.
oh my god,
those are
true.
fried ass honey.
But
Yeah.
but here's the difference though. Goofy movie was made for people of color, man. Those
Fuck,
dogs were
yeah,
clearly
yes.
like
Yeah.
black and brown, dude.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, whereas like again, the SpongeBob with the and notice how I didn't say bongos, I said bongos.
Right,
That's
yeah.
how SpongeBob would say it.
Right, yeah. That's interesting though.
I never thought about that. You're absolutely fucking right, Goofy.
Yeah.
Yo, everyone there is black and brown.
That's funny. So that's the difference. Well, I learned something. That's the difference. I was like, to me, they're all poetry slams, or I don't know.
But circling back to the whole like the dirty stuff is well received in those. It's well received, and it's also like there's like a limit, I guess. Like there can't be two. There can only be one. Kind
Per
of thing.
show, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you,
It felt that way. Like when I saw her perform, I was like, "This motherfucker is honing in on my." No,
That's so
that was good. That was good reaction. But then I was like, "No, man, I don't even fucking want that." Like, I want to be sad boy sometimes, you know.
well, that's exactly something that does happen in like the comedy scene, and be like, oh, that's like the same premise or bit that I have, or something, you know. So it's kind of the same. You guys are covering the same things. I personally gravitate towards the sad boy shit, I guess. So I'm more interested, and maybe the answer is obvious, but I'm more interested in knowing why you were shy about sharing sad boy shit as opposed to something sexual or evocative.
Because it's like with the sexual stuff, like, oh, I made it up, dude. It was just about a chick I saw, and like it just came to me. But like the sad boy shit, like that comes from somewhere. You have to fucking dig and mine and fucking get like a little piece of rock that you've been hiding and shit, and just polish it up and then show it to people. Like, oh, this is what makes me cry every morning or something, you know. But And that's fucking hard to
That's fascinating because like
show.
I feel everybody always assumes that the sad stuff that people write, whether music or deliver in poetry, they always assume it's real from a real place. But like you could easily make that shit up too. No different than you make up a sexual.
It's
Because
also-
your sexual stuff, I feel like, is based on reality.
most of my poetry, if not all my poetry, is like my real life encounters,
Right.
That
Yeah.
I just like expressed through poetic form. But what I was gonna say is like what you're getting at is almost the crowd fantasy, the spectator fantasy, almost like K-pop. Whereas like K-pop artists aren't allowed to date officially or in public
You're educated.
Because-
What? I've never heard this.
because
Are you familiar with this?
because
Sorry.
No, of course not.
it'll eliminate the spectators like fantasy of like
Oh, I
there
could
be
hook
a
up with that.
chance.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is what it is though.
So, what kind of sad boy stuff are you into, man?
All kinds.
You too shy to share?
No, I'm not too shy to share, but
I mean, you've been littering your Instagram with a bunch of like. There's a big split between there's like a. I don't want to say like you could see like a certain phase that you're going through by the content that you've been posting, but like right now you're like I don't know. I think your most recent post was like almost like a self-validating post. Like
yeah. I needed that shit at that moment.
Self-validating, like, were you experiencing some imposter syndrome or something?
I always experienced imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It's very on brand for me to be imposter syndrome, but no, it's just I go through ups and downs, and like one time I just wrote down like, man, fuck this, and I started like upping myself and being braggadocious and all these fucking. And honestly, like the whole like Kendrick and Drake thing going on right now, kind of brought it
yeah.
in me too. It's like all these dudes are just writing poems about each other.
yeah, basically. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, but like I was just big up in myself and just wrote it down.
Right.
And it came. I thought there were some lines in there. And I was like, oh shit.
Okay. So you felt good about that.
I feel good about all my poetry.
Really?
It took a while,
Uh-huh.
but if I post it, I feel good about it.
Oh.
Okay. Oh.
Do you shelve a lot? Like you?
Well, I write every day,
Yeah, you write every day, so I'm assuming.
and
you're
it's
not-
like at
yeah.
least like 2-3. I guess you could say poems.
Mm-hmm.
At least 5 ideas a day.
How do you go about that? Do you have a structured time? Like, oh, I'm gonna wake up at 8 a.m. write by 8:15, or is it like it's kind of open ended? I am going to write 5 poems today. It doesn't matter. It's just got to get done today.
I have a rule where not a rule. I like to write. I like to read at least 30 minutes a day, write 30 minutes a day, and meditate 15.
Okay.
But I always overshoot the writing part because I just have it on me. I have that thing on me. I have my notebook,
Right.
and I just whatever comes to me, I just write it down. Or if,
So you carry this everywhere.
everywhere, yeah. Or if I don't have it, or if I'm driving, I have my voice recorder.
Voice memos, yeah.
Which is something that you introduced that to me.
The voice memos.
Voice,
oh,
the
dude,
voice
yeah.
memos as like sometimes you just have that thought that you don't have the opportunity to just write down. Like,
Yeah.
just record it. Which I feel that you do that also, and again, I'm basing everything off your Instagram.
Okay.
Is with your sticker blasts. Like you, it's like stream of conscious, flow of conscious on stickers throughout the city.
That's not a big part, but every time you see me like, oh shit, stop what I'm doing, and then go write something down, it's probably one of those stickers. I'm just thinking something in my head, like, oh, that sounds fucking sick. And I put it down.
So, because you mentioned this earlier to me, I didn't really have time. That's my mistake. Explain the sticker blast. What exactly is a sticker blast? Like legit stickers? I'm thinking literally here.
They have in the graffiti scene. There's like blank stickers you can get.
Like,
Or-
hello,
or-
my name is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like the
Those.
post office ones.
Right.
Yeah.
People put their name or their tag or whatever.
Right.
I put poetry on it, and or lines or
Yeah.
one-liners, and I just stick them over places.
How did you come up with that? You just see
Well,
someone do it, or you just were like, oh, this would be a good idea?
I always like graffiti,
Okay.
and one of my favorite artists is Basquiat,
Okay.
and he started by doing that. Samo, I think it was called, and he would just like tag on the walls sayings or
Yeah.
stuff like that. I got that idea from him, and I just wanted to
So you post them all over San Diego?
anywhere I'm at, anywhere I go. I happen to most of the time I'm in Logan or North Park, but yeah, anywhere I go or gas stations. If I stop at a gas station, I have one on me. I just to get something.
Nice.
Yeah.
So do you write, quote unquote, write?
Oh, officially no.
Okay, so officially no. Yeah. If you were to write, do you have a name?
Officially no.
Gotcha. Smart.
Wow, I like the way.
Okay.
Blur his face and then answer the question.
Off mic, or what the kids say.
Yeah. That's cool. See, I'm learning something new. I don't even know. I was like, what the hell is a sticker blast?
Yeah, but that's
cool.
A test because a lot of people like to just like I noticed on the age of Instagram with especially like I follow a lot of graffiti artists.
Mm-hmm.
There's the one that's the graffiti artist and then there's the street artist. You know what I'm saying? There's the vandal and then there's the muralist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then usually
the ones that are embraced by the whites.
I would say that. But and then good thing you bring up the like graffiti aspect. I take a lot from them. My homie Toom, you might have seen his stuff or their stuff. The reason I post stuff for free on Instagram is because of that. Because I think art should be free.
Okay.
And like these guys just write their fucking art and like just not only should art be free, it should destroy. I think that's fucking beautiful, and I think that's why another reason I do the sticker thing.
When you say destroy, what do you mean by destroy? What should
If we're gonna get poetic, like destroy like ideologies and shit, destroy capitalism. I don't like. I hate money. Money is like the worst thing for me. Destroy that.
So destroy capitalism. Dispel the notion that we need, capitalism or we need money, et cetera, et cetera.
I think
in a simplified way.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like most of our, like probably 95% of the shit that we experience that's bad for us, like even like racism, like sadness, fucking addiction, like at its core, it's capitalism.
Interesting. What's the alternative to capitalism?
I don't fucking know. But I know it's getting me sick.
Right.
And I know I should stop.
Well, I want to come back to that, but before I forget, you said art should be free. Now, is that just because of your, let's just use the word hatred for capitalism? Is that the reason you think art should be free?
That's one of the reasons also, I think when people like equate poetry or, well, in my case, poetry to selling books or doing that, you lose a lot of your own voice. And you go more towards like, oh, people are liking the dirty stuff,
right? Which was I said you're gonna cater to.
And I think if you cater to people, then is that really art,
right?
Or are you just fucking
producing a product?
Yeah, you're making. Are you a content creator or you're a poet?
Right.
And I struggle with that every day because I put my shit on Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you write under? I mean, obviously, SoftBoi is your pen name, or is it your?
I guess it's my pen name.
Your a character you created, because that's like you write your poetry and you tag and you write it, or as in you tag it basically SoftBoi. Yeah,
it started off as just like people will remember that easier. Like I'm just call it like SoftBoi, and then I guess it might have turned into a character. I don't know.
Because I mean I don't use my government name in my writing. I use my pen name.
Right.
So. Do you feel that going on stage and doing the stuff that you would be uncomfortable doing, but fully embodying a character would be a lot easier for you?
No, because I think like even me, like the real me, even fucking like Richard is a character. Like we all are characters we put on that whatever the fuck it is that we get that makes us like go out into the fucking real world. And I think if anything, like my poetry is the opposite of that. Like I'm actually taking off the mask.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you are he is SoftBoi.
Yeah, I guess
he's more SoftBoi than Richard, right? Essentially.
Essentially, yeah. But
I had this conversation with someone, not like I want to say 2 years ago. It was actually during the pandemic. Now that I think about it, where I said Olivius Maximus is not my alter ego. Oliver is my alter ego. Like every day, I'm pretending to be Clark Kent, but in reality, I'm always Superman. That was like my way of thinking it. You pretty much said the same thing. Whereas like on stage, you reveal who you are.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to figure that out, or
Probably-
what made you figure that out?
Probably just right now in our conversation.
Yeah, we
No, but,
accomplished something here.
No, but I always knew that I was like telling the truth in my poetry, and that's why it's so fucking hard for me to share, like the sad boy shit, because it's me. Like dirty stuff might be even more of a mask
Interesting.
because it's not as personal.
Now, this is kind of a personal question, so if you want me to cut it out, I can cut it out. But is the dirty stuff then, for the most part, all fiction, or is it based in reality? Like, is it just stuff you've made up, as opposed to the SoftBoi shit that you're saying is more real and personal to you?
A lot of it is
Fantasy or something?
no, it's not fantasy. It's like all poetry, you elaborate, but because I do very well not to say specific things, so as to not incriminate any, because
I from what I'm getting from it, or maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost like how comedians and how most great storytellers may embellish certain things for the sake of the story, for the flow of things.
Right.
It's embellishing, but with poetry, it's more like it's not about the titties, bro. It's about it's about this other thing. But like I had to put the titties in your face to get
your attention,
to get to that point where what I'm really talking about.
Ah, okay. Fascinating.
So the real stuff, the real important stuff is real.
Gotcha.
But that's up to you to decide what you think is the really important stuff, I guess.
Ah, okay.
But there's also a difference, like between if we were to compare our craft, because from what I read and what I've been exposed to, is it's not so much like he said about the titties in your face. It's like those are just it's like a filler track almost. Like there's something deeper in there. Whereas where mine is like it's
about the titties.
It's about the titties.
I guess, yeah.
Like, I want to show you these areas.
It's like, I got to see these. I want you to see these. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And of course, I have poetry like that too. But
Yeah.
it is, let's say, 50-50.
Gotcha.
If you want an official answer.
But your sad boy shit hits hard, dude.
It does, but I'm guessing maybe that's me just getting over it, trying to share it because it's fucking hard, But I'm getting into it. I'm getting good feedback when I wasn't looking for feedback, I wasn't getting it, and now that I don't want it,
Nice.
I'm getting it the most. I'm like, okay, thank you, but I'm gonna fucking keep doing what I'm doing anyways.
Right.
So,
What open mics did you start at, if you don't mind me asking?
the first one I ever did was over here in North Park behind Verbatim. There was like
the Verbatim books.
Yeah, Verbatim Books. It was like a book fair thing,
Okay.
and like that was the first
What
one.
year?
2020.
Did I perform at that one?
I don't think so.
You performed at it was similar spot, but I don't know if it was 2020.
No, but it was the one run by.
No, that was
Sure.
20.
Yeah.
That was 21.
21, right? Yeah.
No, the one I was at, I stayed for the whole thing, and I saw everybody, so I would have remembered you.
Oh, 2020 was
That was like right in the heart of the
I
pandemic.
was
Like,
about
it
to say,
just started.
It's like
yeah.
everything was like it was illegal to go outside.
Well,
Like,
maybe this was before everything shut down.
No, it was that. It was like one of the first times, like, okay, guys, we have some limitations,
Gotcha.
but we can still do this shit. And everybody was like, they had like the stickers on the floor. Remember that?
Right. Like
oh, you
the
gotta
6
stand.
feet
You stand
apart.
right here in this
Right.
line.
Yeah.
It was that kind of deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I thought for some reason I thought you started before. Because did you ever not perform but attend any other poetry things?
No. I always went to perform. I never
Went to just
You don't go to fan. You just go to perform.
well, before that, like now, sometimes I go like, oh, I'm not gonna go up this time. I'm just gonna listen. But before that, no, I only went to.
Do you perform and leave, or do you stick around?
I stick around
Why stick around?
because I like poetry,
Okay.
and it's nice to be out with like-minded folks, or for the most part, like-minded folks. That I mean, if you do poetry, we have some sort of common ground.
Do you? I'm
Yeah,
gonna get to, I'm gonna get
I was
to
gonna
that.
say, yeah, you fast learn that just because you like poetry doesn't mean you're a good person necessarily.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you find you get along with I guess your peers in that scene, in that community, or
I've met a lot of bad people,
really
and I've met a lot of good people.
bad people? As in, like, these are like objectively bad people, or bad people as like, we just don't jive at all. We don't.
Nah, if you don't jive with me, you're not a bad person. I'm not
Gotcha.
I'm not
Oh, so then
egotistical
you-
like
you're
that.
right,
Like,
right, so then
not
you-
like if you don't fucking like what I like, you're a fucking shit.
Yeah.
No, like shit people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is the scene littered with that?
Yes.
Really?
Be careful, people.
Yeah.
Be careful. Don't get fooled by pretty words.
Wow.
In my experience, when I stepped away and I just started lurking in the shadows without people noticing me being there, I realized that like, oh, it's a fucking business. Like,
Fucking A.
yeah, like.
What do you guys mean by that? Like the showrunners?
Like now it makes sense like why people got bumped and stuff, because like
Gotcha.
certain people it does somewhat feel like the comedy scene where it's like, oh, like I heard this guy's in town, I'm gonna like
Yeah.
bump you, so like there's more audience members in like available to see this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like what he said earlier, it's like, oh, like my friend's here, like I'm gonna put him first, even though
Yeah.
you've been waiting since 5 o'clock to put your name on the list.
And then you pay $5 to be on an open mic.
Which
But
it used to not be
You
like
pay to
that.
play. You pay to play.
It used to not be like that, and when so before the pandemic, it was for everybody. Like it felt like, oh, like this spot is literally for everybody. No cover, no nothing.
Yeah.
Like, no minimum drink like requirement. Because
That's a thing?
it was a thing. It was
Wow.
like 2 drink requirement, I think, at one point. Well, like I said, and then pandemic happened. I stopped going. I stopped associating myself with those people, and then I came back out of nowhere. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, it's $5 to get in." I'm like, "But it's me, baby. Like I've been,
Wait, fucking, it's me, man. That's
I've been
hilarious.
here." Yeah. Nah,
Wow.
yeah, it changed. Then that's when I realized, like, oh, this is a business. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta stay afloat.
These I'm gonna just call them showrunners because they're the ones, I guess, like putting on the event.
Yeah.
So this is just like a filler term, showrunner, whatever. They've always done this, or do you think they like saw, oh, this is an opportunity, let me cash in on some. I'm not saying it's super lucrative, but are these people poets themselves, or they're just
They are, well, for the most part. Like it's just I feel so shitty, dude, because there's this one cat that I actually met in Logan at the poetry joint that I used to go to over there, and I brought him over to the
Dude,
one.
are we twins? I have like the fucking same probably story.
Anyway, and I'm going there. And then I brought him over to the spot in downtown.
Yeah.
I was like, hey man, like this is like the new spot I'm gonna be going to. Like, come join me. Because Logan was starting to get a bunch of it was just a bunch of old cats that weren't down with the dirty shit that I was fucking performing. And then
Old heads.
yeah, and then the guy ended up hooking up with the ringleader of the joint, and from once that happened, like things changed.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So you have similar stories. Oh, maybe not similar exactly, but
Well, it was a guy in Logan, and there was a guy I brought in, and it turned out to be a super shitty guy. But I'm over it, man. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But
it was interesting because not saying that there was seniority, but usually there was like it was like an unspoken truce almost. Where it's like, hey, like I put in my stripes in a way like I'll like I'm gonna have a secure spot on the open mic list kind of a thing.
Yeah, you're gonna send the rank there.
Yeah.
So this is fun because what really intrigued me, I'm coming back to the capitalism and the art being free, because that stuff really fascinates me, because the three of us here are artists in our own right. You guys have your standard day jobs. I've like fully invested in
You live off your craft.
Yeah, I live
I
off
think
my
you're fucking better than everybody. No.
Wait, it's super hard, but as someone who's
No, man, that's good.
as someone who's like, this is my livelihood, it's hard for me to swallow the pill like my shit should be free. In an idealized world, like, yeah, I guess it should be free. But who's gonna pay my bills? You know?
Get a fucking job, you. No, but like, what would you? This is an interesting conversation for me. Like, I'm honestly curious. You don't. What? You're a musician. You don't think your craft? What do you call it? Like you make something for the man or something. Like, you don't think it, like, this is not what the music I want to make. This is the music they give me money for. There's nothing like that.
So yes, there is that for sure. I've likened my corporate gigs, so to speak, my wedding bands, or like, you know, corporate business events where we play. It is basically they're cover songs, and it is just catering to them, and that is akin to just having like a regular job, but it's still music. It's, you know, the time I'm able to express myself creatively is if I get to solo on a certain song or something like that. But it is like having a regular job in that sense. I clock in, let's say it's Saturday, I got to be there by 5, and then I'm off the clock by like 10.
It sounds to me like we are the exact same thing, dude. Like, you're the music that you make is just your job, and then like do you play music outside of getting paid for it? Or you only like, I'm not gonna play my fucking whatever you play. Sorry, not everybody saying like that, but like whatever instrument it is you play, you stop playing it if you're not getting paid for it.
The only time, like, do I play for free essentially?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
the only time I play for free is here.
For yourself, for
practice.
For practice, and that's not like development, like
Development too, like
in your soul and your little heart.
Yeah, I'll play that. But see, that's what I'm saying. Also, that's I'm able to at least express that even on the job. I'm able to, for example, let's say I'm playing a Katy Perry song, and they're like, "Oh, take a solo," you know, and I'm able to at least still express myself creatively in that solo.
Within the parameters.
Within the parameters, yeah, within the confines of this, I'm able to do that. Yeah, there are definitely moments here, you know, when I'm either writing, recording, or let's just say I just feel like sitting down and like, I'm gonna just play whatever I feel, see what it comes like. So yeah, those are I predominantly play for free, but I do have gigs where I have to essentially clock in.
The way
your art is free, my guy. Sorry.
No, the way we scribble in our notebook, just these random thoughts. The way you sticker blast these little phrases, as him on his he has a mini little keyboard, dude. He just sits on the couch and he just
Exactly.
So the thing is though, I have songs, I have stuff that I've been releasing. So that's why I'm essentially like challenging the notion of it should be free. Because it's like, no, I in an idealized world, no, I want to monetize my art, because I would rather do away with the corporate gigs and be able to make a living fully on my own art. That's what I'm getting at.
I get,
Like,
I get what you're
yeah,
saying. I would love for people to want to give me money for my poetry.
Yeah.
But the way I look at it is like, would I be writing this shit? Well, I do. Even if they didn't pay me, even if I had to pay for it, would I still want to write poetry? And the answer is yes. Like, I'm not gonna. They always ask you like, "Oh, what's your dream job? You want to be like a poet? That's your dream job?" Like, no, I'm gonna do that shit for free.
Right. Yeah. So we're in agreement on that. I would do it regardless.
Yeah.
I have done. I'm still doing it regardless. I'm obviously making more money playing music that I'm hired for
Yeah.
than my own personal art. But I would love to flip that script for sure.
Oh, fuck
that's
yeah, man.
that's like. So that's why I'm like, no, like I don't want art to be for free because my dream is to monetize that dream. Like I want to make a living off what I love to do.
I guess making art for free is kind of a broad statement, but like what I'm really getting at is like if the money, what's the word I'm looking for, hinders the art or in any way changes it,
Yeah.
then I don't. Then at that point it stops being art.
Right.
And
Authentic art.
Authentic art, and it starts being a product.
Excuse me. The beer. I'm in 100% agreement with that too, for sure. Like if I'm hired for a job and they're like, "This is what I want," then for sure, like that's one thing. But if it's my own personal art and someone's like, "No, you should change it," I'd be like, "No, but I want it this way." Yeah. Now we're in this area where I'm like, "Fuck off, this is mine." Yeah.
Yeah, the whole art should be free is kind of dramatic. Well, I'm a poet. You're gonna have to forgive me for that one, but like, yeah, like essentially, like, man, fuck it. I'm gonna write what I like. I'm gonna play what I like.
Right.
I'm gonna draw what I like.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But if somebody wants to pay me for it, cool.
Fuck yeah. Pay for it. I love it.
And I run into people that do like, oh man, like I love your shit. It touched me, such and such. And I'm like, yeah, fool, here I got more shit. It's like, no, here, let me give you money. And I'm like, oh, come on. All right.
Oh, dude, accept it. Accept it. I went through a period where I'm like that too. I'm like, oh, I don't. Nah, you gotta accept it.
Yeah, like, and I am like I'm starting to slowly.
So what would make it easier for you to accept it? Like, would it to like validate it through repetitive routine, almost like a job?
No, it wouldn't.
Because like I know people that they started like, what is it, like a mail poem, like little programs where like they set up an account with someone. Is like, hey, you pay me $12 a month and I'll mail you like 16 poems.
That's a thing?
What the fuck?
Well, I've never heard of that. He hasn't either.
I'm telling you, like it's just like it's rogue, dude. Like this motherfucker with the typewriter, just like, hey, like just go. I'm not. He doesn't have. I don't. I'm assuming he doesn't have that many people that agreed to be like, yeah, like here you go.
Well, I never heard of him, so
I've seen this typewriter guy at the farmer's market in Hillcrest. I'm telling you, that is a person. I've seen him.
that guy has an open mic. I'm not even joking. He has an open mic.
Oh, is that right?
So do you host an open mic? I based off your IG, you're the host of Lost for Words.
Yeah, I hosted a few in my day. Fucking yeah, I do. But I haven't hosted one in a minute. It's been since maybe, what day was it? September.
And these events are free or paid?
I don't get money. The closest thing to paying is like I get the wherever I'm allowed to host it, they get more business. That's about it. Like I hosted at a coffee shop. I did it at the Church of Herbalism. You guys should check them out. They're fucking dope. They got
Church of Herbalism?
yeah, but it's like tinctures and shit like that. They're pretty cool people, and the coffee shops, of course. But like they don't pay me. They're like, oh, here's a coffee guy, but like. I don't want money.
They just want more people in the door.
How did was it just too much work for little return? Why'd you stop or
No, remember that guy I told you about in Logan?
Yeah.
It just got muddy. The whole scene got muddy, and it was causing me too anxiety. I was losing peace. I did it for the wrong reasons. Like I was trying to compete with people.
Oh, okay.
And
with like rival shows or hosts or something?
rival shows and hosts, and I was just trying to prove something that like I don't know why I was trying to prove it. Like, when that wasn't the thing initially for me.
Yeah.
Like, in my heart, like I wanted community. Like I wanted.
You wanted another church, basically.
Not another church, no, man. Get out of here with that shit. But no, I just the reason I put my poetry out is to meet like-minded people. Like, I like the like, oh man, you said the words that I didn't have, kind of thing, you know. And, like,
Gotcha.
and then you meet more people, and then they touch you in the same way, and you exchange poetry and art. And it's all beautiful, man. But like, no,
Commune of art.
I guess a collective. What do you want to call it?
Congregation.
Congregation. Yeah.
Going back to church.
Sad Boy Church. There we
Sad
go.
Boy Church. That's
Should
exactly
be the next event.
That's what it should be. We should do it at a church.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't in it for the right thing, so I took a break and
That's cool.
I had to see what I wanted from hosting these open mic events.
Did you get any like pushback on like wanting payment or something like that from like other creators or other like people that you
I never got pushback for that. Nobody ever asked me for. What do you mean, like money, like to have performances?
Yeah, like did people, or was it always just like kind of like open mic-ish?
It was open mic-ish, but the guys that I used to, a few of the open mics that I used to work with, it was more about the money, and I didn't want it to be about that. Like they were making like trying to make corny ass merchandise and shit, and I'm like, bro, like nah, come on,
What kind of merch?
like shitty shirts, stuff
Right.
like that.
But at the end of the day, that's how you make money in the art game.
In this day and age, yeah, it seems to be just all about the merch.
Yeah, but why does it have to be so shitty? bro? let's at least make it good.
You
but
got to spend money to make money.
What made it shitty? Let's throw
it was just not creative people.
Gotcha.
Like it was like corny shit. And this is just, I guess it might be objective, but to me it was corny. Yeah, a little bit. Like how many open mics you run into that have like a feather for a
Yeah,
fucking,
dude, I'm fucking over it, dude.
Wait,
Like
what do
a
you
quill.
a quill for a logo.
Yeah, dude,
okay.
it's so fucking common. I mean, back in Hawaii, it was a fist.
And no, do you fist or a quill?
Yeah. I think this has both.
Oh, the fit. Yeah, that one definitely. Grab that for me. Grab that for me.
So this is the last one that was published.
Boom.
That's good for you.
It has both. You're right. It has the fist right here, and
and
it
a
has
typewriter usually
Typewriter.
quill in the. And why is it in a coffin?
because where do you? Never mind.
Poetry is meant to be taken to the coffin, I guess. I don't know.
To the grave, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting ride to participate in this little book because I had lost the connection with these peeps for a while, and I had assumed that they were only gonna allow their friends to participate in it.
No, if you got cash, you're good, bro.
Yeah, man.
So
Maybe you, if you want to like take this out, but like, how do you feel about that? Or do you want to talk about it?
they
Dude, every fucking
Sucked.
because they saw how much output I was doing. Because I do every poem every fucking day on my shit.
Right.
They were like, "Oh, dude, come talk to us, man. We'll get you published. We'll get you this, and that. It's just $3,000." I was like, "What the fuck? Like, you think I have $3,000?"
Yeah.
huh.
Yeah,
They actually threw a number at you.
they did. And if we could put that on there, I don't mind. I'm
Cool.
gonna fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I could bleep names.
Yeah.
So
Or
then
if you,
yeah.
I don't know if you're comfortable with me even bringing them up. Let's just not then. Okay.
I don't
Just
give a
let me
fuck.
just-
I don't
just-
give a fuck.
you
Let's
can let
just-
me know at a
let's
later
vent.
time.
Let's
Yeah,
vent
yeah,
because
yeah.
I got shit to say too.
And it's I don't want to talk shit about like people's poetry, but like
No. We're not talking.
no. Even though it was whack. But it just you became too much of a business. It stopped being like you cared. Like you would publish fucking I don't know, like a fucking McDonald's menu
Right,
if it got
right.
you money.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like,
It started pandering.
yeah.
It started pandering like hardcore, and it's that's one of the reasons. Well, one of the reasons I stopped going is because I realized that I think I talked about this when we met over at Golden Hill. I was the comedic relief, where it was the like a lot of angst, and like we need to shove you in here specifically so like we don't lose the crowd.
Yeah.
Which is like, and then that's when I was like, okay, if that's the goal, then that means I'm part of a program, I feel like I should get paid.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like, because I'm not here. I'm no longer here just because either you guys like me or because like you guys like what I do. It's like, oh no, like
You're a tool.
it's part of the business now.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%, especially after they started charging people. I'm like, dude, these are like poets are broke as fuck. Not all of them.
Yeah.
No, but I would say
no.
I would you know I don't want to be rude, but I would say probably the majority, right?
Yeah. A very majority, but
You know, looking at this, hearing about these two people that turned it into a business and throwing numbers at you and whatnot. In this day and age, like I feel, and with how much content you're saying you have and how often you write, forgive me for not doing my own homework. Do you have a book? Do you have something already?
I put out zines for free.
Okay.
Or donation based, and I do my own.
Uh-huh.
But right now I'm doing a lot of Lost for Words, which is like submission based poetry stuff, or like not even just poetry. It's like art.
Is it all digital, or do you have a hard copy?
I have a copy. I'm mad that I didn't bring any in now. Actually, that I think about it, but.
Well, let me know too. You could let me know after, like a link or something. I could plug it. You know.
It's just my Instagram.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's not. I do it to get people's like shit out there. Like you don't know how many times like people are like, "Oh man, thank you so much." Like I didn't even want to do poetry until I like talked to you and you talked me into like even going on the mic. Like it's,
Right.
and it doesn't happen like it's not like hundreds of people, but like the very few people that have come up to me and like told me that, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like it's even like validating in that sense.
Right.
You know, like you want more people to fucking be successful.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I don't want no money from them. I don't want anything from them. I want them to get their shit out, because honestly, some of it is really beautiful. I mean, it's all beautiful. And I want to say some of it, but like
You can say some of it.
There's some because there's some poetry that I don't like.
Right.
Like slam poetry, it's not my shit, but I get it. People like want to put it out.
Right.
And there's and that's the thing about Lost for Words. Even if I don't agree with you, or if I don't like it, if it's not to my liking, or if it's something different, I'm gonna put it in there.
What if it's hate speech?
No, I'm not gonna fucking hate speech. But like I haven't come across that yet.
Right.
But
I'll submit something.
yeah, all right.
Well, we were just hating on two people.
But yeah, it's not. I haven't come across like anything I really didn't agree with. But like I think if it came to the point where it would be, I think I'd be okay with like posting it.
You'd still be okay with.
Well, like
it out there.
fucking hate speech. It just depends on it, you know. Like it depends.
Is it well written?
No, not even if you have bad poetry and you want people to see it, go ahead. But
Right.
But I'm all for it, and I want to.
It's very free of you. That's very free market capitalism to bring it back. I'm just kidding.
Capitalism makes money. I don't make shit.
That's true. Yeah, I was the reason I brought up the whole thing is because I mean, like I said, you said you have some zines. You everything is free. Was just in this day and age, you guys totally could have just done this yourself.
Yeah.
In this day and age, yeah, there are the means where you don't have to pay $3,000 to publish. Yeah.
My boy.
This, you want to plug him in?
We don't have to, but we can. But like,
I can see it.
yeah. So like, my boy, he's a writer. He does these books, and
We just saw him at Black Comic Con.
Yeah,
What's it called?
I think it's Black Con. Yeah.
Black Comics.
Yeah. And he has his own. This stuff is all on Amazon too. I think he has his own Amazon store. And I'm not saying it's the most lucrative thing, but I'm just saying,
Trying to get out there.
Yeah, and I do tell people about that. I have a bunch of friends that I guess you call it self-publishing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Yeah, and I just don't.
No interest in it really, or you just
It's like,
does it go against?
no, it doesn't go against me. Like I think if I ever get like something good that I want to really put out there, I would go that way. But
Because you must have a ton of material.
I have
Yeah.
and but like I think like getting down to it, and like it starts selling shit, and like here I'll deliver, like this is shipping, this is all that.
Right.
I think that would take away from me writing.
Oh,
right now I'm
interesting.
writing. If I get like somebody that wants to do it for me for free,
Gotcha.
but like or like you could do it, you'll get all the money for it.
So you think it would be a little too time consuming, essentially?
Time consuming, I don't want to do it. Like it's not.
Right.
It's not
right.
in me to.
No, dude, I completely understand.
Something that has crossed his mind is doing.
No, I mean, even if
crossed my mind,
even if
but-
it did, it's just if he's not into that, I completely get it. I personally like kind of hate selling. I know it's like, well, this is what I have to do if I want to monetize but like,
But it's one of those things.
it's visceral. It's like, oh,
But you're in the living off the craft thing where it's like you kind of have to do it.
no, you have to. It's annoying. I don't like to
put
do
yourself
it.
in the right mindset to do it.
Yeah, I guess I'm not there yet.
It's like having to brush your teeth and wipe your ass. Like we hate it, but we have to do it.
We hate it.
I don't hate it. Whoa, bro. Wait, speak for yourself. Every time I take it, I gotta wipe my ass.
Wipe this thing again. Like,
What was the saying? It's like, why wipe your ass? You're gonna shit later.
yeah.
Yeah, but like, just change that mindset. We have something that could change your mindset, actually.
You're fun. That's a great plug. That's a great plug. Get it if you want. That's familiar with Magic Mind?
No,
No. So pull it out right
sell
here.
it to me.
Yeah. No, Magic Mind is a nootropic. Are you familiar with nootropics?
No.
So let me make it real simple for you. This thing is like your coffee substitute. I don't know if you're a coffee drinker or anything like that, but if you need a little pick me up, if you want to be a little bit sharper, this is kind of like what that does. It's loaded with different vitamins and minerals, and it just kind of like, look what we have here. We got some matcha. There's a little bit of caffeine as well. You have some what is it?
The mushrooms,
You got a bunch of different stuff that really like gets your mind all sharp. So if you're like, hey, I want to write at 6 a.m. and you've only had like 4 hours of sleep, boom.
Productivity
Take a little
elixir.
Yeah, you take a little shot of the Magic Mind. That's what it does.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
on au natural.
If you want to, try it, take it with you later. I mean, up to
No,
you.
if it's for me, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Hey, giving me shit, I'll take that shit.
Take it. Let's put it in the fridge though.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't want it to spoil. We'll make a note though. Here, we'll even have this right here, so we don't forget. Magic Mind. Boom.
If you don't mind me asking, if you had a problem with these guys, why'd you get on the book?
Exposure. And also, I was going through.
Ooh, I want to turn that question on you then. Why you're not self-publishing? But finish that now.
I was. There was a moment after the pandemic that I just got a sour taste at everything. That I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I don't need to showcase my craft anymore. Like, I like doing it because I like doing it. Like, it's for me.
Yeah.
And I stopped. I put a pause on my writing for a while. Like, are you still writing? She would make like little comments here and there, like, hey, are you still writing? Like blah blah. And it kind of got to me. And then I was mindlessly scrolling through Instagram one day, and then I saw the thing was like, submit. And I basically was like, I still got it. And I banged out like 2 pieces, and then I submitted them. And well, I'm not gonna lie, I banged out 2 pieces, and I submitted one along with 2 older pieces.
Oh, okay.
And the 3 made it to the book. So, and it was more like my affirmation, like I still got it. Like I don't need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Well, same question then. Any interest in just self-publishing something?
I have thought about it before, and the only thing that has stopped me is I'm too hard on myself, in the sense where it's like, well, I forget who said it, but some famous person or someone said a quote along the lines of like, an artist never knows when to let his art be art, or like to let it go. Like an artist will always keep finding something to change in it. Like it's the whole like letting go thing of it. So for me, it's like I have a lot of pieces that I've written that I'm like, nah, I can still fix this. Like it could be better.
Right, but see, here's the funny thing though. Like you have a website, you have a blog where these things are already like.
But
it's like your SoundCloud, if you will.
But my
you know?
blog is nothing but first drafts. Like,
Right.
dude, like there is
right.
like no fucking no one's proofreaded. No one's like actually giving me like honest feedback of like, hey, put this here. This, you know, it's just nothing but first drafts.
But do you have finalized drafts? You're like, this is done.
And they're in there. They're peppered in there.
Yeah.
And those are usually the ones that have like the most like. So on my blog, I have a thing where like it'll isolate and create links to like the pieces that have the most likes on them, and it'll like, you know, like yeah. So, and that's basically it, and that's how I know like, oh, those are good. Do you go back and edit, touch up your stuff, or you just
no?
Like,
but I was planning on doing it because same reason. It's I've been getting more comfortable with the idea of self-publishing.
Nice.
So I have certain poems that said like, oh, that's going in the book, and I have them like all piled up, and then I'm gonna go back, like, and.
Do you have an idea of like how many works are gonna be in the book?
I do not.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm getting more comfortable with the idea of actually doing that.
I like that. That's cool.
I don't quote me on this, but I think not Amazon. One of the publishers that I was looking at is if it's poetry, and depending on like the length of the pieces, like if it's like 25 poems, it's like considered like a vignette or like it's like not like a book.
It's not a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that before too.
So it's one of those weird things where
poetry is like way easier to publish.
I've been getting into like packaging the products, packaging the art, so to speak. So that's why I'm like, are you gonna publish something? There's just something nice about having like this tangible thing where maybe you also contacted an artist, you know, and you're like, hey, you know, you can draw, I can't draw, but this is what's in my head, and then you know they do something for you. I just kind of I'm enjoying that process where you just kind of have this thing.
It is. I mean, I myself like love books, so
yeah. So yeah, that's and you know you seem to be getting into this mindset of where you're a little bit. Well, the ones you post, you said you're proud of them. So I would only go so far as assume like if you were to have something like this, it'd be something you'd be super proud of, and then I don't think you would have any, you know, hang-ups about promoting it.
No,
you know?
no. But I was working on my very good friend Celeste put a few of us on I don't know, I forget what it's called, but it was like an apprenticeship where she taught us how to publish our own books. And I was like very into that. And I going through the process, I realized that I'm just compiling poetry just willy-nilly.
Yeah.
And I decided to drop out at the end. Like, no, I'm not going to put anything together, but like, thank you very, very much for teaching me that. And I've gotten, I want to curate it better.
Right.
I want to curate the poetry better. That's why not everything's making it onto the book.
No, it shouldn't.
But, and it's not that I'm not proud of it. It's just like, if we're bundling something, it has to make fucking sense, right?
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah, you want like
that's the flow.
Yeah, like
exactly.
like
That's
an
the flow.
some, you know, a lot of albums will have like a theme or something. Yeah, so
Yeah. That's what I'm working on.
cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe something, I don't know.
Yeah, I did notice that they had a pretty good idea with this book where they broke it down to past, present, future. So they left it pretty broad for people submitting where like certain pieces would fit in certain areas of the book. But my only gripe with this thing is that I didn't know that the way or what you submit is the way that it's going to be presented in the book. I thought there would be some editing done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you messed up there.
You could go to page 73 and then you'll see how like everyone else has like structure. Look at that. And then and then look at mine.
All right. Well, 73.
See what I'm saying? Like,
Right. So this is his short excerpt
compared to, again, like they could have like
to
spaced it out, like
compared to something like that.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, whatever, dude.
Yours looks like a Google Maps review or something of a
That's
restaurant.
funny.
But no, man. Well, my problem with my work, I wrote an intro and they edited it wrong, and I wrote call myself a pocho poet, which means like not from here, not from there.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Alright, good.
They called me a poncho poet,
Oh, because they don't know the word pocho.
yeah,
That makes sense.
and then I'm like,
Yeah.
where did I go wrong?
So
What have I
pocho
done?
pocho poet. Yeah, I do see that a lot in your craft. There's a lot of Spanglish,
Yeah,
and that has to do because you mentioned off camera that you grew up both sides of the border, basically.
Yeah.
Tecate and here.
San Diego, mostly Logan and City Heights, and then in summers I would go to Tecate. Yeah.
Dang. So, what was like a typical outing in Tecate? Because it's just desert out there. It's like
You just go to your grandma's and you chill, and then she talks to you about plants.
So
And
those
no,
are
and
your
then there's like
grandmas.
farms and shit. We had pigs and goats.
So did you have like a little crew out there that you would run the streets around with?
Nah, I've always been a loner up until like after. No, in high school I started hanging out with people, but I've always been alone.
Loner. Why a loner? Or you just prefer it that way?
No, because I was socially awkward. Yeah, but yeah, just hang out with my grandma, with my cousins. I guess my cousins were my crew,
Okay.
but like a little hanging outside. Not
Right.
really, you know.
And most of your cousins still stay down there?
Yeah,
You're the only
mo-
one that lives over here? Or?
Yeah, most of my family is split between Tecate and LA. My mom's,
Part of LA.
I'm not even sure, but
Hey, man, I consider anything past Del Mar, LA, dude.
dude, for real, past Claremont for me. Dude.
Damn.
but like, no, so me and my mom's, like, we were like the only ones here, so we'd be more like back and forth.
Right.
Like you could tell, like me and my brother speak like way better Spanish than my LA cousins.
So,
Oh, my cousins in LA fucking can't speak Spanish. It's terrible.
we've had our own conversation. but,
It's really bad.
It's my thing is Spanglish was a thing that was allowed.
What do you mean? Here,
You as in like
Oh, this is your hang up.
you're tapping something hard right now. So like when you would go visit like your grandma and your cousins and everybody down there, you said you were the only one that lived on this side.
yeah.
And was it strictly Spanish on there? Or did you ever
No,
speak Spanglish?
I only with my grandma. I only in my family. I only spoke Spanish. My family in Tecate only knows Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because there is in at least for me and a lot of my friends, it was looked down upon to speak Spanglish.
why?
Because it was like you either choose one or the other. You can't do both.
We
Yeah.
tease him so hard.
Yeah.
I know it just came like, especially urban here in San Diego. Here, I spoke a lot of Spanglish.
Well, in Logan, I would imagine. Logan
Yeah,
and City
yeah.
Heights, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Common vernacular, basically.
Yeah.
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 It's its own language.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize I was speaking Spanglish sometimes, like parquear or whatever.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
That one bugs me.
No, actually,
Yeah.
some of my cousins do talk shit about that, but it's not like,
Yeah.
oh, get the fuck out of here.
I hear that in TJ, and I'm like, oh,
But
it's
again, it's
spreading.
catering to the northern influence.
Right.
Yeah,
But
estacionar just sounds
Yeah.
lame. I don't know, bro.
It sounds really proper. I mean, that is like
Yeah.
Spain Spanish.
The one that gets me, like, I don't know why I don't like it. It's coche.
coche.
But coche is proper.
Yeah, but you're saying coach like a stagecoach.
Yeah,
bro.
exactly. That's the
No, it's
yeah.
not. You're not driving a horse and buggy.
But caro, like that's your last name, by the way.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that sounds like some white guy, when they're trying to speak Spanish and they just add an O to everything. That's what carro reminds me of. Yeah,
Well, and it's funny because like most of the white people speak Spain Spanish.
yeah. Well,
The browner people speak say parquear or fucking.
right.
Because in my opinion, in my experience, it's like, oh, we're sounding white. It's like we're sounding sophisticated. We're sounding foreign.
in my experiences, like that's just how you say it. But because like I'm like a whole ass white guy. I think I'm like white passing, but like my brother's like brown. We're like night and day. Like not to be like colorist or nothing, but like
He's like this table.
yeah, he's like dark, and I'm like white. But
So, did you ever have like those brown pride people like growing up that would tell you like, oh, like you gotta like align yourself a certain way? Like
it was very light. Growing up in Logan, especially, it's like, oh, you're a rocker fool, huh? Like all the cholos, like you had to either like rap music, wear a fucking flannel and baggy dickies. There was that, but it wasn't like to the point of bullying. But it was like it was definitely brought to my attention that I was not a cholo.
Right.
Yeah, but like they're like, oh, that's just Güero, that rocker fool. That's what people call me, Güero. But
were you like into rock or something? Was that your?
yeah, I was into everything, but like I didn't dress like a cholo, so like, oh, you're a rocker fool.
That's so funny. It's so funny.
I liked everything. I mean, I was a punk, or quote, but
dang, well, we're talking about like American punk or like English punk, like
I don't know. I guess American punk.
'Cause-
Like, I had green hair and I'd go to attic shows and get drunk before.
because that's what I was gonna say. It was like always the addicts people. Like it was at least in my experience, I used to hang out with. So I went to my only year of American public high school or public school was I went to Bonita Middle School for like fucking a year, and it was I got to see all the colors of society basically. And there was the so-called punks, but even then they were like, oh, we're not those punks, we're these punks, we're the British punks. Oh yeah.
No, I got like crust and like street punk. Like I didn't get, and it was never distinguished by country.
It was like we're the oys,
Right.
Yeah.
Oys, yeah.
That's very unpunk of them to be like. but
Funny.
But I mean, at the end of the day, dude, once you find like other group of people that you think will thinks like you, like that sense of tribalism's like it tends to flourish, man. It's like you automatically create a them.
yeah, and that's what I try to strive away from. Like I don't want to set like a particular set of rules for like anybody that's in my my zine or anything.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was actually gonna. You brought it up. I was gonna go back to that because you said earlier that you were willing to just kind of almost, even if it is hate speech, I guess, you know.
No. I'm not gonna fucking cater to no fucking racist. But I'm saying like if you want to get like slam poetry or,
Right,
or
yeah.
like haiku poetry or like any kind of art.
I got some original Hitlers for you.
He was an artist. That's okay.
Oh, I thought you were talking about, like some boots or something. I don't know.
That's cool, man. I feel like we should actually kind of wrap it up already.
Yeah.
We're actually over our time.
Do you have anything you want to plug in?
Yeah.
Lost for Words.
Lost for words.
That's a zine I'm working on. You could submit at SoftBoi Loves You on Instagram. I post daily. Every other day is a written poem. Every other day.
If you want to read something too, that'd be cool too. If you're not into it, that's fine too.
I don't want to miss an opportunity, but let me get my phone.
Yeah. Dude, what is this? This is for like busting windows, right?
Yeah.
I remember. I remember this. That's crazy.
All right, I think it came up the braggadocious one.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
All right. Fucking chainsaw.
No, it's actually the fucking shitty ass motorbikes they have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They ain't ready. I'm the pendulum swinging back, the shapeless mass at 3 a.m., sizing you up from across the darkened bedroom. I am the doubt in the system, the words on the tip of your tongue, the holler after the stutter, the clenched fist, agony just for agony's sake, cold beer on a hot day, the moan that slips out, the dry eye in the funeral parlor, the last bump in the pocket of an overdosed cadaver. I am the way a stripper smells at the beginning of their shift. I am the devil's shadow, the taste of your first lover's tits. I speak luscious words. They smell like ripe papaya and mangoes, guava and a summer breeze. I spit game slicker than God's pussy, metaphors that metamorph into irony and soliloquy, words that left hook, uppercut, haymake, the way that would concuss Julio Cesar himself, but in his heart, you know? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you understand? I am the drugs that scrub the conscious clean. I am Kurt's strawberry glazed walls. I am the iambic pentameter and the money shot. I am the self-love SoftBoi has saved up for a rainy day. In the business, they call me words of affirmation. Thank you.
Nice, dude.
That's that one.
Yeah.
Thank you for providing me a space.
No, absolutely. That's what we're trying to do here in the world you're not in. Thanks for joining us, Richard.
Thank you.
SoftBoi.
Yeah, what do
Who
want?
are you?
Yeah,
Right? Who are
You
you?
can call me whatever you want.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming, and hopefully we'll have you on again after you release something.
For sure.
That'd be great.
For sure, I'm down. So I can plug it.
Yeah, definitely. Peace.